Welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about 10 things that you can do in order to instantly last longer in bed. These procedures, techniques or methods are all short-term solutions. Like, they're not going to resolve your issues with premature ejaculation or however you want to call it permanently. And a lot of them are not sustainable, meaning that they might have some sort of negative effect on your overall experience because they are taking away sensations. They are rather inconvenient to do, or they are straight up a health hazard, right? So how to use these techniques? PE typically has a very big psychological component, right? And that means that believing that you can do it is basically halfway of the work. However, it's difficult to believe that you can last as long as you want if you are experiencing the exact opposite. And this is where these techniques come into play. Like, they serve as a means to create a so-called breakthrough experience. So this is an experience where you use something that might be unsustainable or that you don't want to do like forever, but it helps you to have an experience where you last significantly longer than you would normally do. And after the experience, what I've seen with a lot of people is that the anxiety that they are feeling and the stress is greatly reduced. So this is something that helps them in the long term, even though it's just a short-term solution. And now I want to share 10 of those techniques. 1. The golden point. So between the shaft of your penis and your anus is the pelvic floor and also the perineum. And if you are applying pressure to your perineum with 2 fingers, like this, then you will realize that your arousal will very rapidly subside. So you can apply pressure to this point and stop yourself from having an orgasm. There are 2 ways to use this. The first one is to use it throughout intercourse. This can be a little bit inconvenient because you always have to occupy or entertain one hand in order to apply pressure. Of course, you can ask your partner if you're comfortable sharing this. And the second method is that just before the point of no return, you quickly reach down there, apply strong pressure, and this will basically help you to keep your juices inside, right? And there are some positions where you can utilize this technique without your partner even noticing. So for instance, in missionary, you can lean on one arm, support your whole body, and then sneak your hand behind and apply pressure so that your orgasm stays where you want it to stay. Number 2, the stop squeeze method. So this is very similar to the golden point method. We're working with your point of no return. So just before you reach your point of no return, you pull out, you cease all stimulation. Let's say this is your penis, here would be the tip, here would be the shaft, and just in between you grab just like this, and then you apply a lot of pressure. And this way you will reduce your arousal quite substantially in a very short amount of time. So you want to hold this for like 10 to 15 seconds. And let's say you've been at a 9 before these like 10 or 15 seconds, and then after you're at a 4 to 5, so you still have like a good erection, but you still have some more room to experiment and like feel more sensations and get like aroused again. And the downside of this stop squeeze method, of course, is that it's almost impossible to conceal. I mean, unless you are using like some sort of blindfold, there is no way that your partner is not going to notice. So I personally opted for the golden point method because I feel like it's more superior. 3, change positions. Okay, you were like, okay, like changing positions is like pretty standard advice. I know, but it really matters on how you change the positions. Of course, if you're like shaky and you're like, oh, I'm about to come, can we please switch things up, blah, 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 blah. If you're like this, then of course this is not gonna be very enjoyable for her. However, if you are changing positions with confidence, then this can actually add to you, to like the sexual experience that you are creating. Like, let's say you are just like having some fun, and then after some time you're like feeling you're getting closer and closer, and then you're just like, hey babe, let's go and do doggy. Or like you just grab her and put her in doggy. Of course you should ask for consent, like how dominant you can be up front. But once this is clarified, you can really also start teasing her, right? Instead of just shoving it right in, you can like play with your dick and her vagina and like tease her a little bit. You can even like go and like lick her like nipples, or like kiss her neck, right? There's so many opportunities that don't really involve your dick, and so just like try to see sex as something that's more manifold and has more variety than just vaginal penetration, and just switching things up and like doing different things. As long as you're being confident, you're like giving off the impression that you know what you're doing, like you're the director, then it's actually something that enhances the experience instead of like stops the fun, right? Number 4, think about something else. Of course, there's this advice that a lot of people say, yeah, you should think about your grandma, or like something that you really find unattractive. I personally think this is not necessary. Like, I always thought about a tiger. Like, for me, a tiger is just something that like is pretty neutral. Like, a tiger is cool, but it's not erotic in any way. And so thinking of a tiger, like a tiger is still something that is kind of strong and dominant, right? So like thinking of a tiger was always something that really helped me. Of course, it's not gonna do like some magic trick where you all of a sudden can have infinite sex, but it's something that you can try, and if it works, good for you. If it doesn't, then try one of the other 9 things on this list. Number 5 is numbing agents. These typically come as a spray or some sort of lube, and they are supposed to desensitize your penis by numbing the area and the nerve endings. And because you're feeling less, you are supposed to last longer. Some people have good effects and good results with it, other people not so much. So it's really a matter of trying things out. Like, if you have sex without using condoms with your partner or partners, then I feel like it's your obligation to disclose that you're using this chemical, because your partner might have an allergic reaction to it. And so just consulting with your partner is something that I definitely recommend. 6, have a drink. Alcohol has 2 positive effects for how long you can last. The first one is that it typically relaxes you a little bit and takes you in a like less anxious state of mind. And the second one is that it is a nervous system depressant, meaning that it desensitizes your body to external stimulus. And that means that you essentially also feel less, and therefore it can last longer. However, I want you to know that alcohol is habit forming, it's an addictive substance, and it's also very unhealthy for your body. What I'm getting to is that you should not get into a position where you are fully reliant on alcohol to have enjoyable or fulfilling sexual experiences with your partners. Like, this sets you up for alcoholism, and it's really difficult to quit. It's gonna have a lot of negative influences on all aspects of your life, and so please tread carefully. Like, this is something that's not to be taken too lightly. However, because it's something that you would normally do in a lot of social situations, like a date anyways, it's quite convenient. 7, thick condoms. There are condoms out there that are specifically engineered to help men last longer in bed. You can use these condoms, try to find a brand or like a specific product that is fitting your size, and some of these are actually quite thick, so they take away a lot of the sensations that you're going to feel and makes it easier for you to like control your ejaculation. However, it also means that you'll not find it as enjoyable. What I think is a big upside of condoms, for instance, compared to numbing agents, is that it's like purely physical barrier, and it's something that you would use in a lot of cases anyway, so it doesn't really add an extra step. And if you're, for instance, in a casual sex scenario, you don't even necessarily need to disclose that you're using these thicker condoms to your partner, because they're effective at like contraception and like protecting from STDs, just like the regular condoms as well. 8. Start off slow. Again, sounds pretty basic, but hear me out. So what a lot of people with PE do is try to abstain from like hand jobs or blow jobs, because they have a lot of anxiety around coming even outside the vagina, and be like, okay, this would be like a very severe premature ejaculation event. And so what they do is they go from no stimulation whatsoever to vaginal intercourse. And so the gap between these two is very, very extreme. And the nervous system is not very good at reacting to these sharp differences. So what's typically a much better approach, even though it seems counterintuitive, is to receive like mild stimulation, maybe through some sort of oral or like manual stimulation, and then slowly ease into like vaginal sex. And even if you're having vaginal sex, don't just like go the full rabbit mode or like the jackhammer. You don't want to do that. You want to go inside, and you want to go deeply inside. Go as deep as you can, and then you're not like doing full strokes, but rather you're grinding inside her. This is going to feel very good for her, because with your like pelvic bone, you are having the opportunity to stimulate her clitoris, right? And like the outside area of her vulva. And this is, for a lot of women anyways, the area that is most sensitive and most easy to bring them to orgasm, right? So basically you are doing something with this grinding that is not creating a lot of sensations or stimulation for yourself. However, for the woman, it is something that creates a lot of pleasure. And so this is basically just like using different techniques in order to enhance how much she is feeling while kind of minimizing what you are feeling. And this is a very smart way, I think, to navigate your own arousal and her pleasure. 9. Inflict mild pain. So you can either pinch or you can also bite, and that is going to help you to be distracted, and therefore makes it much easier to last. So with pinching, you can either do something like this, where you take the nail of your hand and you like dig it into your finger. You can of course also pinch you just like this, anywhere in the body. Depends really on what kind of position you're currently doing, which one is convenient, also in a way that your partner not necessarily realizes that you're doing this. So this is something that you can also very easily conceal. Another one is biting. Biting is a little bit more effective, because it is of course a much stronger sensation. And so I would typically recommend biting here in your hand, something like this. And you can do it, for instance, in missionary, where you're just like leaning over like this, and then you can reach your hand with your mouth and then like bite, but don't bite too harsh, right? Like it's like you don't bite it off. You still need it for other stuff, right? Your hand is an important tool in your sexual arsenal, and also outside of the bedroom. So yeah, go easy, like slowly find like a level of pain that is still like somewhat tolerable, but also has an effect on your arousal. 10. Get her off before you put it in. Imagine she already had an orgasm, or maybe 2 or 3. She's already bathing in bliss. you've created a magical sexual experience by massaging her, kissing her all over her body, by using your hands and your mouth everywhere, and she's been having a great time. And now it's your turn. Now it's time to have some sort of penetration. But you don't feel pressure anymore to perform because she's already good, right? She's already had a blast. And you will find that all this anxiety and all this stress is so easy to leave behind now, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you put it in and you blast off in 5 seconds, she is not gonna mind. She already had a blast. So you can take it easy. So these were 10 tips on how to improve how long you can last pretty much instantly. Let me know whether there's something new for you or something that's interesting, something that you've tried. Let me know if some of the stuff has worked for you, and also share with me if there's something that I've forgotten. I'm going to create lots of content on this and other things that are related to relationships, love, and self-appreciation. So let me know. Yeah, ideally you press the subscribe button, you put on this notification bell so that you can see whenever I upload a new video. It means a lot to me, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in the future.